Yes. Okay. Hi everyone. Please I'll kindly request for 5 more minutes so other students can join. So in 5 minutes time we should start. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Okay, so hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Gloria, and I'm the host for today's webinar. Joining us today is Florence from Loughborough University. She'll be telling us everything we need to know about getting admission into the university, the requirements, and she will also be answering questions. So if you have any questions to ask, please kindly drop them in the chat box below. And hi, Florence, can you hear me?
Hi, Gloria. Yes, I can. I can hear you. Thank you for the introduction.
Right now.
Okay. Okay, so I can take over?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, Gloria. Hi, everyone. And thank you all so much for joining this webinar. My name is Florence and I'm from Loughborough University. I just thought I would tell you a little bit about Loughborough University, how you can get into Loughborough University, what to expect in terms of entry requirements, life at the university, fees and funding, all of that good stuff. But I want to make this as informal as possible in that if you do have any questions at any point throughout the presentation, please let's ask and let's have a conversation. So I will do a brief, I would do a very brief presentation and then leave a lot of time for us to talk basically and to answer any questions that you may have. So yeah, I will try and share my screen. Hopefully I do not have any technical issues. Gloria, maybe you could help me confirm if you can see my slides, okay? Let me see, slideshow. Can you all see that okay?
Yeah.
Great, thanks, CJ. So as I was saying, my name is Florence Matera, and I'm the international officer here at Loughborough University. I look after all things Africa, Brazil, and Mexico, which means I am your point of contact of students that are applying to Loughborough University. So should you have any issues or you need support with anything, I would be your go-to person. And if I cannot help you with that particular inquiry, I should be able to point you in the right direction. I'm also a Loughborough alumni. So in as much as I work for Loughborough, I was also a student. So I graduated, I'm class of 2017. I graduated with a Master's of International Management. So hopefully I'll be able to add a bit of value, not just from my experience as an employee at Loughborough, as a representative of Loughborough, but also from my experience as a student at Loughborough. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. The main question that we normally get, funny enough, is how do you pronounce the name of this university? And it's Loughborough. So it's Loughbra in terms of pronunciation, but we're just called Loughborough for as a nickname, if you will. But the correct way to say the university's name is Loughborough University. You'll be amazed how many variations of this name we've heard over the years. So we started back in 2009. We were just a college, like a training camp, and we didn't become a university officially chartered till 1966. So back in 1909, this was the university, which is these two buildings. And I'm actually currently in the building there on the left. This is where I'm currently sitting in right now. So this was us back then, and this is us now. So it's now a very big uni, so much so that it's the second largest campus in the whole UK in terms of its size. So it's over 550 acres. That makes it, that means it's really huge, basically. You couldn't walk it in one day. I don't think you could, unless you're challenging yourself, if you will. And now you can even see the two buildings that I stated earlier. They're right in the middle there, where there's like a fountain. I don't know if you can see them clearly now, but this is literally where I am right now. And as you can see, there's a lot of green spaces. For me, the campus is one of the things. When I was, when I was looking for a university to apply, which is probably the position that most of you are in right now, I did a lot of research. I researched almost every UK university that was offering my course. And in the end, one of the things that stood out for me in terms of Loughborough was the campus. I really wanted to be in a place where it felt like a community, where everything is nicely located in one place. Because what I know is that with some universities in the UK, they're jotted around the whole city. They've got multiple campuses across the city. So you have the business school in one area of the town, you have the science building in another city or in another part of town. You may or may not have accommodation on campus, but you don't have like a full campus. But for me, I wanted the advantage, or I wanted to be in a place where it felt like a community, where everything was nicely located in one place. Because with city campuses, the ones that are jotted everywhere, if you're doing science, you may never meet someone who's doing engineering, or vice versa. But I wanted to be in a place where all the academic schools are located in one place, and to just have that convenience and that security of being in one place. So as a campus, it's also very, very safe. So we do have security on campus at every exit of the university. All our security staff, they're first aid trained. So you're nicely kind of like secure. And Loughborough is one of the safest places to live in the UK as well. So this was very beneficial for someone like me that likes reading at night. Like I'm like a night owl. So I normally used to read at like 3 a.m. So I could afford to go to the library at that time and walk back to my accommodation within 5 minutes without worrying or without being scared of anything. Basically, that's the beauty of being in a safe campus. But yeah, and it's everything I like, from being modern, having a lot of green spaces, but also being like having old Victorian buildings. So yeah, that's our campus. Oh, so I think someone is saying something. Sorry, was that a question for me? Or is this someone that just forgot to mute? Okay, feel free to raise your hand if you do have any questions. So that was our main campus, the Loughborough campus. We also have our Loughborough London campus. So they are in central, 5 minutes away from central London. Our second campus is in Stratford. So this campus opened in 2015, and it's actually one of the fastest growing campuses in the UK. And they offer exclusive programs. So they offer only postgraduate courses, only masters, and they're very exclusive courses that most of them you wouldn't find them anywhere else. So very niche, very good courses, very strong courses. And it's situated at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, which is in East London. And right now they've got over 500 students. I think it's a lot more right now. And they're known for having like an enterprise kind of like internship based curriculum. So it's very, very hands-on. You're pretty much you're doing collaborative projects with employees around London. You're working with your colleagues, doing group work. So it's very, very hands-on. And that's one of the things that makes the London campus stand out. So this is actually home to where the London Olympics happened back in, was it 2012? This is pretty much where the Olympics took place. That's where we're situated in London. So this is it. This is the campus. This is where we pretty much are. So if you are after that city life, you do want to be in one of the best cities in the world. So they say if you want to be in London, then this will be a very, very good option as well. And you will be surrounded by, this is the hub for most businesses anyway, and most job opportunities. So we do cater to that as well. In terms of Loughborough is known for one thing, and that's their reputation. It is one of the best universities in the UK. I actually think I say, and I'm going to be biased, of course, in saying this, but Loughborough is the best university for me in the UK. And I'm not just saying that from thin air. We actually have been voted best university in the UK over 3 times in the last 10 years. So that's something we're really, really proud of. At the moment, what we're known for is that we're consistently ranked in the top 10 in every national league table. So that's something that's consistent over the years, that we're a top 10 UK university. Actually, it's been 8 times that we've been voted in overall over 8 times that we've been voted the best university in the UK. And we also host the largest university careers fair. And this is big because a lot of students actually manage to secure job opportunities as a result of attending this fair, whether it's meeting employers that will help you with your application, or hearing about job opportunities that maybe are not heavily promoted, that you wouldn't easily access, or whatever it may be. We do hold the largest university-based careers fair in the UK. So there will be companies from around the UK that will come and speak to students. Some clever students, they come booted and suited, they come with their suits, they come ready with their CV, and they really make such a good impression, so much so that they actually invited to interviews on that day. So that's something that I would encourage, that if you're a student, make use of the opportunities like those. And because at the end of the day, we do want you to get into the right careers, earning the right salary. So the average salary 15 minutes post-graduation is 28,000 a year. And that's really impressive, because with most universities, on average, the starting salary would be between 22 to 24,000 pounds. But with us, it's 28,000 pounds a year. And 85% of our students, sorry, I think that's Ukeme. Is that for me, or you're just accidentally unmuted? Okay, maybe just unmuted by accident. So yeah, 85% of our graduates are in employment or higher education after they study. And that's something we're really proud of as well. And we work with a lot of big companies, from PwC, NHS, IBM, Rolls-Royce, and all of that. And I think what stands out in terms of like the employees that we work with is we really are hands-on with our relationships with them. So when we say we're working with the company, it means that they're benefiting from us as much as we're benefiting from them. It's actually a real partnership where some organizations, they actually play a part in helping us with our curriculum. Like, we'll go to them and say, okay, this is what we're teaching our students. Is it relevant? Is it practical from what you're seeing in industry? They'll approve or disapprove of some stuff, or amend and tell us what challenges they're facing that we can address within the course. That way, by the time you graduate, you actually have hands-on experience. Because there's a big gap between academia and practicality. I think there's, is it Adenji Haruna? I don't know if you can hear me, but you're, just as an update that, yeah, if you can, yeah, I think you're saying something. Okay. I was just giving you a heads up that we can see you, but yeah, just in case. But yeah, so that is one of the things that we take pride in, the fact that we really try and narrow the gap between academia and practicality. So that way, by the time you leave to work, you're not traumatized by just how different it is just writing notes from the classroom to actually being given a project to take over. You can go there confidently, because we really try and narrow that gap. And when we see our students are working with certain companies, they're not just the students fetching teas and coffees for everyone. They really are doing the hands-on practical work. that you sort of practiced for, that you learned for within the industry that you want to be in. One of the things that Loughborough is famously known for is sport. So we are, they say, the best university in the UK for sport, and actually the best university in the world for sports related subjects. So that's something we're really, really proud of. And we also are a top 10 research intensity university. So what I mean by that is that we're not just about having students, educating them, and then you go your merry way and that's it. No, we actually are a university, as cheesy as it sounds, that wants to make a global impact, that wants to change the world positively in one way or the other. So we do want to help out, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in the environmental crisis, whatever it may be, we want to play a part in making the world a better place. So that's what it means when the university says they're research intense. It means they're making some sort of global impact. And that's basically what we're about. And for those of us that are undergraduate students, we do offer a placement, a one-year placement for every undergraduate course available. I think I see a question in the chat, which is, so after this session, what's next? Well, after this session, I'm pretty much going to tell you about Loughborough University. Then maybe afterwards you can ask me questions. And then I'll also share my contact details for those of you that might want to ask questions afterwards. And that is pretty much it. Then that's pretty much the session done. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. These are the different schools that we have at the university. We've got the School of Aeronautical, Automotive, Chemical and Materials Engineering. We've got the Loughborough Business School. We have the Science School. We've got the Architecture, Building and Civil Engineering School, Loughborough University, London, Social Sciences and Humanities, Design and Arts, Manufacturing and Mechanical Engineering. So within these schools, there are a number of courses available there. So I can pretty much say we offer a wide range of courses. It's easier to tell you the courses we have than to tell you the courses we don't have. So I would say we pretty much offer every course apart from law and medicine. Those are the two areas that we don't have anything specific for that. But generally for most courses, we do have courses that are either we do have that course that you're looking for, or we've got something very much related to it. So even if we don't have medicine, we do have biomedical biological sciences. We do have pharmaceuticals and all of those other type of courses available. So that's the schools that we have. And like I said, we've been voted the best university over 8 times, the best for student experience. That means that we just don't want you to come and be going to classes and back to your room and sleeping and that's it. No, we want you to have a full and whole experience. So we want you to get involved in all the clubs and societies that we have. We've got over 90, different societies available at the university. So there's a chance that whatever your interests are, there is going to be a group of people that share the same interest. There's even like a Harry Potter society for those if you're like a Harry Potter fan. There's like a gospel society. There's a Christian society. There's the Muslim society. So there's religious society. There's art society. So if you're into music, dance, art, there's a flying club as well. Belly dance society. A wide range breakdancing club, so you can really get involved in like a lot of things. I was a part of the Afro-Caribbean Society. That's called it's ACS basically. So with ACS, you pretty much it's people from different backgrounds, from different African and Caribbean backgrounds that are maybe born and raised in the UK or diasporans or whatever it is. And then that society, they do like a wide range of events, whether it's having influential Black leaders within the UK to come and deliver talks. to parties, to movie nights, to different things. And there's also the Nigerian Society as well, who do like a lot of events. So for Nigerian independence, they'll have like a big event. And just for different things, Christmas, they'll have like a Christmas bowl. So I say this to say there's a lot that you can get involved in the universities besides besides just school, besides going to class and seminars. You can get involved in a lot more fun activities around the university, particularly sports. We really do encourage sport. So it will be remiss if I didn't speak about our sport at Loughborough, being that that's one of the things we're famous for. So we are #1 in the world for sports. So it's a very, very good for if there's anyone in this room that has any type of interest in sport. Oh, someone is unmuted. I'm not sure who that is. Is that okay? It's gone quiet again. Great. So as I was saying, we're famously known for sport, #1 in the world for sports related subjects, and #1 in the UK for sports generally. We have full football pitches on campus for those of you that enjoy football, for example. And we work with a lot of sports, Premier League sports teams as well, from Chelsea, Liverpool, and West Ham. Those are the university teams. So if you don't support any of those teams, we're not going to give you an offer. I'm joking, but those are the university sports clubs that we do kind of like work with at the moment. So if you do have an interest in sports, you would be coming to the right place, because we really do encourage our students to play as much sports as possible. So there's this tournament within the UK. It's called BUCS. So it stands for British Universities and Colleges Championships. So it's like the Premier League of all universities for all sports. It's like the Olympics basically of UK universities. I think it's been running for 40 years, and Loughborough has actually been winning that for 40 years since it started running undefeated. So that's something we're really, really proud of, and can kind of tell you the level of competition we have, at Loughborough. And there's a fun fact that if we were a country, we would have been contributed 20% of Great Britain team in the last Tokyo Olympics games. So a lot of sports talent is pretty much in a DNA. And I think you might be thinking, how does this help me? You've gone on about sports for the last 2 minutes. I really, how can sport help me? And actually there's this statistic that says that if you play sport, you can actually get a higher paying role, or people that play sport get higher paying jobs when they graduate. And when I first heard that, I was thinking, what's the connection between playing sport and getting a high paying job? But apparently employers or recruiters, they think that if you play sport, it means you're disciplined, because you're having to wake up or you're waking up early for training, and then you're going to school, and then you're doing training again, or whatever it is. So it shows that you're disciplined. It shows that you're hardworking. It shows that you're a team player, and it shows that you're confident. So there's a lot of skills that a lot of people that play sports have. Now, you're fortunate if you go to Loughborough to just have the stigma put on you that you play sport, even if you don't. Like me, for example, I do not play any kind of sport. I used to play tennis back in the day, but I really don't play sport. But because I go to Loughborough, people generally assume that you are involved in some sort of like sport anyway. I never bother to correct them. I just keep it as it is. But that's one of the benefits of coming to Loughborough. Basically, you will get involved in a lot more beyond just your academics. We do want you to excel academically, because at the end of the day, it is a top 10 UK university. But we also want you to have a full experience, get involved in the societies, get involved in sport, and have a full experience. So these are just some of the sports that we have, over 44 sports. So I'm sure there is something for everyone, from tennis, squash, swimming, netball, hockey, basketball, cycling, dance, athletics. There's too much to name all, but these are just a few of the sports that we have. Now, for accommodation, that's the number one question that we normally get. Do you have accommodation on campus? And the answer is yes. We do have accommodation available on campus, whether you're a postgraduate student or an undergraduate student. So pretty much they secluded halls just for just for postgraduate students. So I know when I was coming to do my master's, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want to be staying with 18 or 19-year-olds that are coming to university for the first time and are really excited and are probably going to be really loud because they're getting independence for the first time. So that really was a concern of mine. But fortunately at Loughborough, there is an opportunity. There's halls that are secluded just for postgraduate and research students, as they're deemed more serious. So if there's any undergraduate students on here, I do apologize. I'm not calling you unserious. I'm just letting you know that there's basically separate accommodations for undergraduate and postgraduate, all within the same area, within the same university anyway. And there's different types of accommodation depending on your preference, your lifestyle, or your budget. So if you're budget driven, there's really affordable accommodation like Faulkner, Eggington, the halls that I stayed in. At that time, it was like £4,500 for the whole year. And that's unheard of. That's really unheard of in the UK to have accommodation that's cheap. And then there's affordable accommodation for those that want an ensuite rooms where you don't share a bathroom, because I know some students are very particular about that. There's rooms where you can have your own bath as well and everything else, and then you just share all the communal areas. And then there's halls, there's self-catered or catered halls. So maybe for those of you that don't want to cook, there's halls where they provide food for you 3 times a day, so you don't have to worry about cooking. So, and this is very useful. Like I told you, we have a lot of famous sports athletes that are studying at the university. They've got such busy schedules that sometimes they don't have time to cook. So something like that would be appropriate for them. Or you're just generally busy and you can't cook and you don't want to cook. That's that option as well. But then that might not be ideal for someone that eats what wants to eat, what they want to eat. So all this to say, different types of accommodation depending on what you prefer. Depending on what you prefer, basically, or what you can afford, rather. So accommodation is voted 6th safest place to live in the UK. Like I was saying, I used to leave the library at all odd hours of the evening, around 2 a.m., 1 a.m., you'd see me leaving the library, and I would not even worry or feel unsafe at any point. So on campus, we do have our own medical center, so you don't have to register with the doctor outside of the university. We've got our own dentist, we've got our own optician as well. So that's the beauty of having a large campus like ours, is that you do have pretty much everything you need within one place. And there's off-campus accommodation as well, for those people that may be bringing, for example, like dependents. I know that's not going to be like a big option going forward, but for those that may be bringing dependents, you might want to stay off campus because you require the space or whatever it is. So that would be something that's available as well, and that we can still support you with as well. Now, in terms of tuition fees, for undergraduate courses, you're looking at between £22,000 to £27,000. And then for postgraduate students, it's very similar. You're looking at between £22,000 to £27,000 as well. For postgraduate taught courses on the Loughborough London campus, it's between £26,000 to £27,000 basically. Now, in terms of living expenses, it's £9,207 for the whole year. That's what the UKVI have said. Any university that is outside of London, that's how much they expect you to have in your bank account for living expenses. That's how much they estimate your living expenses will be. However, certain areas within the UK are cheaper to live in than others. So I'll use my £1,000 for living expenses for the whole year, and I got by just fine. But that's because I was living like I was on a budget. So I was conscious with my spending, but some people, maybe you do spend a lot. It depends with your spending habits. It might be even more than 9,000, but for me, the minimum that I survived on was £7,000 for the whole year. That was for my accommodation, my food, and any other type of upkeep. There's really no need for transportation costs because everything is within one campus. So that was pretty much that. So in a year, you are looking at around £32,000 to £36,000. So it is you will find that with our tuition fee is higher than some universities, obviously, because it's a top 10 UK university. So if you see all the universities that are within sort of like top 15, they would have, that kind of like tuition fee, basically even higher. And then as the universities go down the ranks, so the lower rank the university is, the cheaper it is, type of thing. So all the universities that are in the top 15, top 20, they would have this kind of tuition. So in as much as our tuition is on the higher side, what you find that is our living costs are really low. So it does end up balancing things out a bit. And with some of the scholarship opportunities we have, you see that there actually won't be like a drastic difference between attending Loughborough, a top 10 UK university, and an average university. So these are some of the things to look at. Like, okay, the tuition is high, but okay, let's take everything else into consideration. Let's take into consideration living expenses, and let's take into consideration the fact that the scholarship that you may have attained, or the discount, or whatever it is. So that's basically that. And I think I've got a question. For the deposit, that's a good question. So the deposit is £2,500. To be able to secure your CAS letter. So I think that's one of the lowest deposits that I know of. And I would take advantage of it now, because we're hoping to change that next year. Sometime next year going forward, it might end up being between 4,000 to 500. But at the moment, our deposit is £2,500 to get into the university. So that's that on tuition. Now for scholarship, I get this question a lot. So basically the main one, the best scholarship I can tell you about is the African scholarship. So it's called the Creating Better Future Scholarship. So we acknowledge that we do get a lot of interest, a lot of strong students from Africa, but we are not oblivious to the challenges that are in Africa, raising funds, exchange rates, and all of that. So because of that, we do have a 20% scholarship available to all our master's students from Africa. So that obviously includes Nigeria as well. So if you're applying from Nigeria, Ghana, wherever you're applying for, you automatically get 20% off your fees. 20% on most of our tuition is like £6,000 off. It's like 5,990, which is pretty much £6,000 off. And as I was telling you, my accommodation in 2017, the cheapest was 4,500. Now it's 5,000. So you can imagine that 6,000 could cover your accommodation, is enough to cover your accommodation for the whole year. So it is a substantial amount. And that's something that's automatic as long as you've been offered a place, as long as you are an applicant who's been offered a place, and you're self-funded, you're postgraduate taught student, then you're kind of like guaranteed this 20% scholarship. We have a variety of other scholarships available that are subject-based. For example, if you're applying for an MBA, depending on the work experience you have, you may get 40% off or 25% off. We also have the London's Dean's Award Scholarship. This is significantly competitive. It's if you're applying for any of the courses at the Loughborough London and you are making some sort of like impact, then you're doing something beyond something. How do I say this? And that applies to our African Development Scholarship as well, which I would touch on. We're looking for applicants that they're pretty much, it's beyond, they're wanting their degrees beyond self-serving. It's beyond, I want to leave Nigeria, make loads of money, get a nice house, get a nice car. That would not get you the scholarship. We want students that are really passionate about the courses and they want to make some sort of impact within their community, within their society, whatever it may be internationally, they are making some sort of impact. They are making someone's life better in one way or the other. So that would be the full scholarships. That's the African Development Trust Scholarship. So with that one, it's full tuition covered, your whole £28,000 covered, but then you just need your living expenses. But like I said, it's significantly competitive. We get 500 applications and we only have 4 recipients in the whole of Africa. So chances are there would be 1 person or 2 people from Nigeria that gets this award. So that's how competitive it is. But at least there's the guaranteed one as well, which is the that 20% discount. But if you are interested in the African Development Scholarship, I encourage you to look into it, to apply within a good time. We normally do want students with a strong GPA, and by strong I mean we are looking at first class students generally, and students that are really making an impact or really want to make an impact. So yeah, any more questions on that, feel free to ask me. I would be happy to help. There's also a sports scholarship that's up to 3,000. Actually, I think it's gone up between 3,000 to 5,000 pounds. So if you play sport at a recognized level, you could get up to 5,000 pounds, which is obviously a really good opportunity to kind of like decrease that scholarship as well. So that tuition fee. So that is that. And there's a question here from Jane that I just wanted to cover. How long does it take to get an offer after an application? If everything is in order, we've got everything we want, and there's no hiccups, we don't have any delays, it should take a week to hear back from the university. 2 weeks if you're an undergraduate student. So if you're applying through UCAS, it's your first degree, then it would take up to 2 weeks. But generally with master's courses, we say a week, but sometimes they surprise you and they send you an offer within 3 days, or whatever it is, but they're quite quick and they're very, very good. Our admissions team, I would say. So that's on scholarships. And then entry requirements for English. We do obviously accept the main qualification. We accept WIAC basically if you've got C+ and above, and if it's within sort of like 12 years max. So if it's over 12 years old, then unfortunately we would require you to do like an English test. So the main one we accept is obviously IELTS, and would want a minimum of 6.5 with 6 in each band. But if you've got your WIAC C+, it's within 12 years old, you don't have to worry about doing any other English tests. We also accept other English tests like Duolingo, and we have a whole wide range of courses or English tests that we do accept. You just have to look on our website and you see the full list there. For undergraduate entry requirements, I don't know if we've got any undergraduate students here. Most courses, we generally are looking for an average of AAB to be accepted onto the course. So that is, if it's IB, that would be like 35 or 34 points, between 34 to 37 points in IB. And in general A levels, would be looking for ABB or AAB to be accepted onto our courses. And then we also have, of course, the foundation for those, if you don't meet the entry requirements, we have on-campus foundation programs with our new partner, Cambridge Education Group. So that would be an option as well. And for postgraduate, I'm seeing I don't have the slide. I don't know where the slide has disappeared to. For postgraduate entry requirements, most of our courses do require a 2.1 and above. So that's like 2.5 out of 5 GPA and above. There's certain courses that do take a 2.2 as well. So it just depends on the course that you're applying for. But generally, most courses require a 2.1 and above. And that would be it for entry requirements for postgraduate. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I will now open up the floor to any questions. If you want to, I think there's one already in the chat box. Is IELTS involved in this process? So as I was saying, if you have your WIAC grade C and above, then no, then you wouldn't need IELTS. But however, if your WIAC is not expired, but if it's over 12 years old, then unfortunately we would require IELTS or any other English tests that you might want to do, like Duolingo, for example. I hope that answers your questions. I can see CJ, your hand is up. Do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I applied to Loughborough and I got accepted, and they said
congrats.
sent a class letter.
Oh,
thank
excellent.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know, they sent the CAS letter, but I haven't really seen anything about making a deposit for the CAS letter. So
Are you an undergraduate student?
yeah,
Oh yeah, so undergraduate students, there's no deposit. So deposit is only for master's students, master's or PhD students. But if you're an undergraduate student, you're not required to make a deposit, so you're fine.
okay, thank you.
So
Also, I
CJ,
have like oh
sorry.
no, I have like three more questions, but go on.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so and then the scholarships. The
Yes.
scholarships don't apply to undergraduates. Do all of them, are there some that apply to undergraduates?
Sadly, the African ones that I was talking about, they're only for masters. But for undergraduate, you're still waiting for your results, I assume. Are they coming mid-August or you've received them already?
I've received them and I've sent them to the school.
Okay, we can always have a
And
private chat after this, but generally for undergraduate students, depending on your grades, you can get between 10 to 15% off. It's a merit-based scholarship, basically. So if you've got, for example, like AAA, you're pretty much going to get 15%. If you've got like ABB, then you might get like 10%. Or if you've got BBB, of which most courses don't accept BBB anyway. So yeah, it will be between 10 to 15%. And it should, if it's been allocated to you, it should reflect on your CAS letter.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you. And
that's all right.
okay, so in the school, since you're a graduate student,
Yes.
how like how many students, how do you think, how many clubs and societies do you think you should join, like that won't really affect your studies?
Your
And
school.
also if you're doing sports.
As an undergraduate, I think you can join a lot more than someone who's doing a master's, because the masters are very intense, because it's, instead of most masters in outside of the UK, they're 2 years, but in the UK, a master's is 1 year. So that means it's really intense. So when I was here, I could only maybe do ACS, and here and there I did join the tennis club, but then I was also working part-time. So I didn't have a lot of time to join as many clubs and societies. But for my undergraduate, I was a part of a lot. You can join a lot. It's just about making sure that it's not affecting you. And it also depends, like, for example, the ACS, right? The Afro-Caribbean Society. It's not like you have to go every single week or every single month. They will just do events here and there, and you can pick and choose which ones you want to go to. So you won't be obligated to attend every single event or social gathering they have. You will then pick and choose as and when you're available, as and when you want, basically. So that then leaves room for you to join as many as you want, dare I say. And then you now just have to manage your time well, like to say, okay, you know what, I do have a deadline next week, so maybe I'm not attending any of the meetings for my clubs and societies this week. I need to focus on school. So you can join as many as you want. But yeah, in sports as well, because sports now, it depends with what level you're playing at. So we have the official sports teams for every single sport. We have the first team, second team, and third team. Those are competitive clubs, pretty much. These are competitive teams that are competing with other universities, and some of them are even Premier League level, or they're within the league. For example, so whether it's like our hockey, our netball, our cricket, they're actually league level. So then you are required to be attending, training. Training would be mandatory. So then that would, leave less room for you to do other clubs and societies, for example. But then you don't always have to play sport competitively also, because it's really difficult to get in the sports teams, because like I say, they are league level. So I'll use an example. When we're playing another, in cricket, for example, we have to use our second team to compete with their first team, because our first team is league level. It's too competitive and it would be deemed as unfair. So that just goes to tell you the level of competition that there is for sports. So our first team, second team, third team are competitive, and then they are, if it's just a society, then it will be flexible because you're kind of like playing for fun as opposed to playing competitively. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
What sports do you play?
you. Sprinting, athletics.
Oh, okay. Okay. So are you hoping to join the university team then?
Yeah. I want to like see if I can take it to a professional level too.
Yeah, that's great. No, I think it would be the best place to do that. I think it's one of the only universities that actually has scouts coming to watch our students play. And also the British athletic team, they train at the university as well. So you get to see them directly, and you kind of, it's not random to see a lot of famous sports people at Loughborough on any given day. So you will get that hands-on experience. So if you are playing within the university teams, then you might not have as much time to be in many other clubs and societies. But then I would still say join, and then you can then just choose which ones you go to.
Okay. Thank you. And then the last one.
Yes.
So what advice can you give? Like, you think a mistake that you think a lot of undergraduate students would make. What advice do you think you can give us that like
a lot of university that undergraduates make, the common one is obviously overspending. So going above budget, spending a lot of money, going a bit crazy, and then not managing their money well. And then halfway through the year, you're now struggling financially. That's probably one of the biggest one, because you're getting independence, most of them for the first time. A lot of them are also, I guess, not managing their time well. I remember, I'll expose myself, I guess, for the purpose of to benefit you. But I remember I was that student that was excited to be going out a lot. And I remember they were promoting this party as the best party of the year that you have to attend. I was like, well, it's the best party of the year, the party of the year, so I have to go. And then I ended up missing like a lecture the next day, for example. Only for a month later, another event came where they were like, this is the party of the year, whatever it is. So I say this to say they're always gonna advertise or promote every event as the best event, So unless you're disciplined to know, like, there is going to be this social gathering when I finish my assignment, there is going to be another big party, there's always going to be something, so you're not missing out. But because of the fear of missing out, FOMO, a lot of students then go out a lot, and then they end up struggling to manage their time well, and they misplace their priorities basically. So I think I was one of those, but once you're a master's student, you've now learned and you're a lot more serious. So I'm sorry for offending you earlier by calling you unserious, but that's one of the things that undergraduates make, is that they do tend to mismanage their time and their money as well. So these are things to be wary of. And then sometimes that then has an effect on the grades. Not even though your first year grades don't count towards your final grades, but then you still have to pass to get to second year. And a lot of first year students don't know that if you do not meet the minimum requirements, you actually will not be able to go progress to your first year. You would have to repeat your first year. And as you see, our fees are not cheap. So imagine now failing your first year and telling your parents that you have to resit your first year. So that's some of the mistakes, I guess, that students make, and things to just be wary of, I guess, once you join.
Okay, thank you.
That's all right. But I will share my contact, especially you, because you are hoping to actually start this year. I will share and anyone else that may have their questions, but they may be too shy to ask here, or they may have personal questions or whatever it is. I'll just share my email in the chat box so that you can feel free to get in touch basically. And I would be I don't have my work WhatsApp number with me right now, but if you email me, I'll be able to send that over. And yeah, I'll be able to kind of like help with that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Going once? Okay, well, if you do come up with any other questions, you've got my email there. But thank you all so much for listening, for engaging. I really appreciate your attention. I hope you've learned one or two things about Loughborough. And yeah, please do get in touch. Please do apply. And we hope to welcome you to Loughborough soon. But yeah, thank you all. And Gloria, I think I'll give the mic back to you.
Oh, thank you, Florence. That
Awesome.
was quite an interactive session and an interesting one at that. Thank you for coming in line. Okay, thanks everyone for attending this webinar. Do have a great day today. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'll get there.